Hello. Good evening, everyone. Tashi Delay. Um, First of all, I would like to thank each and every one of you uh, for gathering here for the very same purpose as we have today, the Tara Sadhana practice and the Aspirational Bodhisattva Vows, led by Venerable Geshe Damdul. And I would also like to welcome our online participants who are joining with us from WebEx platform and at the same time from the YouTube. I would like to welcome each and every one of you. Thank you. And now, before we begin this session, I would like to request everyone that we'll do 3 prostrations, and after that, we will light the butter lamp, and then I would request you all of you to kindly be seated, and we'll proceed the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Kungu Chindela, program coordinator of Tibet House. And as Kungala indicated, this is a part of the second day of the prayer meet, global prayer meet for His Holiness's successful knee surgery. And all the participants, as we make the prostrations, just see that not only you are making the prostration, but all the sentient beings are making prostrations with you, number one. And also that when we offer the light, we offer the wisdom to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, that the darkness of ignorance about all sentient beings are eliminated, and because of which that we become meritorious to reap the maximum benefit from having His Holiness's the presence with us, with the whole world. And so this is how we make the prostrations and offer the lights. Okay, with this 3 prostrations together, followed by light offering. And for light offering, the book, The Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhicittas, page 8, there's one verse there, which Kungala will recite. And we'll all say this 3 times, but not 3 times continuously, till everybody completes offering the lights. Okay, thank you.
With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma. Please. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. Thank you very much, everyone. Kindly be seated. Thank you very much, everyone. And now we will proceed with the session. And may I request our director, Venerable Geshe Dorji Damdul, to kindly lead the session of this undertaking, the Aspirational Bodhisattva Vows and the Tara Sadhana practice. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Kongwachindala, and for all the participants, both offline and online. And as we already know, this is the second day of our the prayer, the global prayer meet for the successful the knee surgery of His Holiness. And His Holiness already left India, and he was in Switzerland, and very soon His Holiness would be in America for the surgery. And I made it very clear yesterday, and even before that, that finally, to what extent the surgery will be successful, and for His Holiness, like any other Buddha, and there's no difference. Only thing is that the beneficiaries, the people who benefit out of His Holiness's presence, it is determined by their, say, the merit accumulation, where there is enough merit accumulation of the beneficiaries and the samples, the followers. So the naturally that the Buddhas will be visibly seen active, being benefiting the beings. So this is exactly the case with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and we pray, and no doubt this all these things will be very successful. So finally, it is determined by the disciples, the followers, the beneficiaries, they the seriousness, their sense of dedication, commitment, and they wanted to follow the advice of such enlightened masters like His Holiness, Buddha Shakyamuni, and so forth. So with this in mind, if we are there, fully dedicated to follow the advice of His Holiness, no doubt His Holiness, I remember oftentimes indicating that when I see that people are so inspired to follow His Holiness's advice. His Holiness gets so much of enthusiasm, so much of, I say, the power and the energy to work for the welfare of the beings. So this is what I've heard myself, His Holiness making these remarks. So this is the case, the same case here, and we are doing this, and we are bringing this to the attention of His Holiness to inform His Holiness and the Office of His Holiness that the people of the world globally, offline, online, both, we see that there are so many people taking part in this, and this is where we are connecting ourselves, we are proving ourselves, and we are accumulating enough merit and energy that His Holiness lives along, and that all things related to His Holiness' health will be taken care of. So this, with this in mind, although we are individually here, I see that there are so many people who attend, who are here for the online, offline, both. And let us think of all the beings with you, not only yourself, all the beings, your family members, including parents, your children, and all the family members, and all dimensions beings with you, the human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, hell beings, God and goddesses, spirits, everyone with you. And all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they're watching us. They're so extremely, extremely happy to see that there is one, the planet in the solar in this whole universe, Milky Way galaxy, in the solar system, there's a planet Earth, where the human beings who was extremely lucky to have to breathe the same air that His Holiness is breathing, to tread the same land which His Holiness has been treading, and then they are actually say they see the value of His Holiness presence on the planet Earth, and that they are doing all these prayers for the success of the initiation of His Holiness, for the long life of His Holiness, and all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. They're so inspired, so happy to see that this is indeed what is actually happening on the planet Earth. And as His Holiness always says, that finally the longevity of the guru depends on the merit accumulation and aspiration of the disciples and the followers. So with this in mind, how the disciples, to what extent they follow the advice, the guidance of the guru, to that extent the guru will be enthusiastic to live long, will be inspired to live long. So, and what is that message that His Holiness actually wants us to engage in is two things. One is the unconditional love towards all the beings, irrespective of caste, creed, gender, and so forth, embracing every creature, human beings, animals, the vegetations, the plants, ecology, and so forth. On the basis of understanding interdependence, on the basis of understanding having very profound insight into the reality of the interdependency. There's nothing who is independent, that there's no one person who is independent. The COVID-19 taught us that we are not independent from each other. When we see that we're independent from each other, then we tend to go into divisions, fights, conflicts. So where we see that we're all dependent on each other, destroying others is destroying yourself. Creating happiness for others is creating happiness for yourself. With this acknowledgement, you will only embrace others rather than throw others away from you. So this is a message of His Holiness, also known as the universal compassion or universal altruistic bodhicitta, along with understanding of the interdependency, emptiness of independent reality. So with this in mind, the desire to follow the instructions, the advice of His Holiness to make the world a better world in your own capacity, um, just let us take a few moments to invoke His Holiness, to invoke Buddha Shakyamuni amidst innumerable Buddhas Bodhisattvas, and visualizing the two of them as so loving, caring, and embracing, committing themselves to live eternally long for the benefit, for the welfare of the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay, with this in mind, today what we'll do is that we will do the Thara. So we have the offline, the handout, and the online screen sharing. The Green Thara Sadhana, we can do that on the basis of this, and where the where there is the inclusion, where there is the section on visualizing the self in the form of Aryatara. For those of us who did not receive empowerment, you can simply visualize Aryatara on your crown. And those of us who already received proper Aryatara empowerment, you can visualize yourself as the directed in the text. You can visualize yourself as Aryatara and then do all the procedures, visualizations of the mantra and so forth as indicated here. Otherwise, for others, I'm repeating it. Those who did not receive, those who have not received empowerments of Aryatara, you just visualize the Aryatara on your crown and do all the visual what is described there to relate to the Aryatara on your crown. Okay, ready? Page 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 okay, the next page. Okay, the next page. Taking refuge. Taking refuge. Okay, those they're offline, you have the text with you. If you don't have it, please make sure that you share with somebody else. You have? Good. Okay. Um, okay. So as we recite what is here, we make sure that the meanings are reflected. That is the key. It's not just a presence of the body here, then they recite the words without the meanings reflected, the benefit will be much less. So meanings must be reflected, and as much as possible, words they flow, the meanings reflected, and the experiences being invoked. Three things should happen. So with this in mind, imagine that you are leading this practice and all the sentient beings are joining us. And the section where we are to take the Bodhisattva vow, then we will follow as we did yesterday. Otherwise, we follow according to this, the text. I and all sentient beings, vast as space, from now until reach the essence of supreme enlightenment, go for refuge to the glorious pure Lamas, go for refuge to the perfect enlightened victorious ones, go for refuge to the pure Dharma, go for refuge to the Arya Sangha. I and all sentient beings as vast as space, from now until I reach the essence of supreme enlightenment, go for refuge to the glorious pure Lamas, go for refuge to the perfect enlightened victorious ones, go for refuge to the pure Dharma, go for refuge to the Arya Sangha. I and all sentient beings as vast as space, from now until reach the essence of supreme enlightenment, go for refuge to the glorious pure Lamas, go for refuge to the perfectly enlightened victorious ones, go for refuge to the pure Dharma, go for refuge to the Arya Sangha. Sanye joda zoge jonam no chanjo bardo dane gyabsuch dage jinso gebe zonam ge dola benjer sanye dubare sho sanye joda zoge jonam chanjo bardo dane gyabsuch dage jinso gebe zonam ge dola benjer sanye dubare sho sanye joda zoge jonam chanjo bardo dane gyabso che dage jinso gebe sonamge dola benjir sanje rubare sho
I go for refuge and turn enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Supreme Assembly. By my merits of generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and turn enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Supreme Assembly. By my merits of generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and turn enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Supreme Assembly. By my merits of generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Namo Guru Be, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Guru Be, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Samaya, Namo Sangaya, Namo Guru, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sangaya. A special generation of Bodhicitta, especially in order to benefit all my mother dear sentient beings, quickly and more quickly, I must achieve the precious state of perfect and complete Buddhahood. Therefore, I'm going to undertake the yoga of Venerable Arya Tara. For immeasurables, may all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings never be separated from the happiness that knows no suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free of attachment and hatred for those held close and distant. Visualization of the field of merits. In a space before me, on a lion throne, lotus and a moon disk, sits Kadiravani Tara, who is inseparable from my root guru. Above her is Venerable Adisha and the other lineage gurus, and she is surrounded by the 21 Taras and so forth, the Yidams, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, hearers, self-realizers, the oath-bound protectors. Tara is in the nature of emerald green light. She sits on the lotus and the moon disk. Tara is a manifestation of the omniscience, love, and compassion of all Buddhas. Her left leg gathered in symbolizes her complete control over desire, the subtle winds. An extended right leg indicates that she is ready to get up and help all sentient beings. Tara has the left hand on her heart in the refuge mudra, her palm facing out, the thumb and the ring finger touching, and the other three fingers raised. Her right hand is on the right knee, showing the mudra of Bishop sublime accomplishments. The palm out, the thumb and the index touching, the rest pointing down. He holds the stem of the blue upala flower. She is dressed in rainbow-like diaphanous garments like silk. Her beauty and compassion is stunning, powerful. The Semlin practice. I prostrate reverently with my body, speech, and mind. I present clouds of every type of offering, both actually arranged and mentally emanated. I confess all my negative actions and downfalls collected from beginning of this time. I rejoice in the virtues of ordinary beings and Aryas. Please remain until the end of this cyclic existence and turn the wheel of Dharma of the transmigrating beings. I dedicate my own and others' virtues to great enlightenment. Mantle offering. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun, and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha field and offer it. May all transmigrated beings enjoy this pure land. O Sajib Tam Rab Le Shen Yen De Gyam Ba De Sangye Shen Do Me De Bu Ba Yin Nam Da Shen Lai Chu Barai Shou Idam Guru Ratnam Mende Lagam Nirateyami. Homage. Devas and Titans bow down with their crowns at your lotus feet, are prostrate to the liberating Mother who liberated from all misfortunes. They request, Venerable Aryatara, great treasure of compassion, grant your blessing to increase all favorable conditions and to clear away every obstacle that all migratory beings may swiftly enter the seat of eternal joy. Venerable Aryatara, great treasure of compassion, grant your blessings to increase all favorable conditions and to clear away every obstacles that all migratory beings may swiftly enter the city of eternal joy. Venerable Aryatara, great treasure of compassion, grant your blessings to increase all favorable conditions and to clear away every obstacle that all migratory beings may swiftly enter the city of eternal joy. Okay. I will recite, so it says, optional mantra of His Holiness. I will recite His Holiness mantra at the 21 times. We'll recite the first, if there are some of us who do not know how to recite this mantra, we'll recite a little slowly and gradually we'll pick up the speed. Okay, so we'll recite this 21 times. Om Guru Vajradhara Bhadaraga Manju Shri Bhagendra Sumadhi Jnana Shasandara Samendra Shimbiri Bhadra Srava Siddhi Om Om Guru Vajradhara Bhadaraga Manju Shri Bhagendra Sumadhi Jnana Shasandara Samendra Shri Bhadra Srava Siddhi Om Guru Vajradhara Bhadaraga Manjushiri Bhagin Sumadhi Jana Shasandara Samundara Shri Bhadra Sravasidi Om Guru Vajradhara Pandaraga Manjushiri Bhagendra Sumadhi Jana Shasandara Samundara Shri Bhadra Sravasidi Om Guru Vajradhara Bandaraga Manjush Bhagendra Sumadi Jana Shasandara Samundara Shri Bhadra Sravasidi Om Guru Vajradhara Bandaraga Manjushri Bhagendra Sumadi Jana Shasan Samundara Shri Bhadra Sravasidi Om Guru Vajradhara Bandaraga Manjushri Bhagendra Sumadi Shasandara Samundara Shri Bhadra Sravasidi Om Guru Vajradhara Bandaraga Manju Shri Bhagendra Sumadhi Jnana Shasan Samundra Shri Bhadra Sravasidi Om Guru Vajradhara Bandaraga Manju Bhagendra Sumadhi Jnana Shasandara Samundra Shri Bhadra Sravasidi Om Guru Vajradhara Bandaraga Manju Shri Bhagendra Sumade Jnana Shasandara Samundara Shri Bhadras Om Guru Bhagendra Sumade Jnana Shasandara Samundara Shri Bhadras Ravasidi Om Guru Vajradhara Bhagendra Sumade Jnana Shasandara Samundara Shri Bhadras Ravasidi Om Guru Vajradhara Bhagendra Sumade Jnana Shasandara Samundara Shri Bhadra Sravasidi Om Guru Vajradhara Bhadaraga Manju Shri Bhagendra Sumade Jnana Shasandara Samundara Shri Sravasidi Om Guru Vajradhara Bhadaraga Manju Shri Bhagendra Sumade Jnana Shasandara Samundara Shri Bhadra Sravasidi Om Guru Vajradhara Bandaraga Manju Shri Bhagendra Sumadi Jnana Shasandara Samundara Shri Bhadra Sravasidi Om Guru Vajradhara Bandaraga Manju Shri Bhagendra Sumadi Shasandara Samundara Shiri Badra Sarvasidi Ho Ho Oma Guru Vajradara Bandaraga Manju Shiri Bhagindara Sumadi Shasandara Samundara Shiri Badra Sarvasidi Ho Ho Oma Guru Vajrad Bandaraga Manju Shiri Bhagindara Sumadi Jana Shasandara Samundara Shiri Sarvasidi Ho Om A Guru Vajradara Bandaraga Manju Shri Bhaginda Sumade Jan Shasandara Samundara Shri Badra Sravasidi Om A Guru Vajradara Bandaraga Manju Shri Bhaginda Sumade Jana Shasandara Samund Shri Badra Sravasidi Om A Guru Vajradara Bandaraga Manju Shri Bhaginda Sumade Jana Shasandara Samundara Shri Badra Sarva Siddhi Hon Hon. Okay, let me just share with you a little bit about Aryatara and the benefit of the Aryatara's practice. Aryatara is to be actually viewed as a mother. It's also oftentimes described as Mother Tara. And I like to share with you two things. One which you see how the Aryatara is being practiced. The practice of Aryatara has been done in the big monastic universities like Sera, Debung, Ganden, these big monastic universities. And then number two, just a small anecdote, which my own teacher, Venerable Genlamne Mariboche, who was a lifelong the hermit, living in the hills for his personal practice, he shared one anecdote of Aryatara, the benefit of say relying on the Aryatara. In the monastic universities, generally speaking, with respect to the monastic members, the scholars, monk scholars, dedicating a minimum like 10 hours of study, reflection, meditation, on the wisdom of emptiness, Bodhicitta, the unconditional love of the Bodhicitta, and so forth. But before the debate, like so officially, like 3-4 hours a day, then after that, then the monks on their own they spend extra 2-3 hours of debate. And before all this debate starts, in my own monastery, the monks they spend minimum like 2 hours coming together, say do they practice recitations, meditation, and then reciting the praise of Aryatara, like minimum 1.5 hours every day reciting. They say, of course, there are many male deities, Buddhas there, but Aryatara is something so unique in ways that the Aryatara's practice is being done, the recitation of the Aryatara's praise done on a daily basis, minimum like 1.5 to 2 hours, just Aryatara. This is one thing. And then then the number two that I'll share with you is that all the giant meaning the accomplished masters, the abbots, the former abbots, His Holiness Kandan Tiraboshe, all these great masters, somehow one thing it was so prominent in the daily practice is the practice of Aryatara. This is something so obvious. I remember that there was one extremely accomplished great master and one of the very senior former the former abbot of Debun Losel Monastery, and he's being respected by all the monks, and a great scholar, a great practitioner. And I still remember that I was a student there, and then this great teacher, he was on the okay, so I remember that myself as a student there, and I could see that this great teacher in his last days, he must be in his 80s. In his last days, I heard from other people that in his last days he was constantly reciting Aryatara mantra. Aratara mantra, and as though like just you are very spontaneously calling upon your mother. This was what he was doing constantly. And then my own teacher, Venerable Geshe, the Palde Thapa Rinpoche, again a brilliant philosopher, logician, psychologist, and an amazing great master. And it's very unusual for him to look for some statues and so forth. Very unusual. He will never ask for these things. And then whatever he had there on the altar, a picture of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the picture of the Buddha, that's it. And then after several years, I overheard my teacher, one of my classmates, he was living for Nepal for maybe about a month, the break. And then my teacher was asking him to bring the small statue of Aratara. That literally, it shook me with, wow, this is how these great masters, they feel so connected to Aratara like their own mother. So this was again another thing. And then going back to the historical facts, it was the 11th century AD that the great master Lama Adishita Shrigyana, who brought all the teachings, the genre of the teachings on Bodhicitta, altruistic Bodhicitta. Before they came to Tibet at the invitation of the Tibetan king, then Lama Ishiyu and Lama Changju. And we must read their biographies. Then you will know that the teachings that we get on Bodhicitta, how precious they are. People, these great, say the Tibetan kings, they sacrificed their life to bring this teaching of universal compassion from India to Tibet. So we'll feel that we cannot really say just take for granted these teachings. These are teachings so precious, and if you don't really practice them well, then look at these great masters, these great Tibetan kings who sacrificed their life for this, and Lama Adishita Shrigyana also for him to decide what do you do. And he himself was such acclaimed great teacher in India, great master in India, and then the Tibetan, the the messengers or the people who came to invite Lamadisha from India to Tibet, and he was in a dilemma because that in the first place, the Indian masters in India, they did not want to send him to Tibet because that he was one of the top masters in India, like say what is that? The lighthouse of the Indian Buddhism, and they were not ready to send him to Tibet. And then because of this, finally, when the Tibetan the group to invite him, when they finally met with Lama Disha, then the Lama Disha said that you came here all the way from Tibet to invite me to come to Tibet to disseminate the Buddha's teachings there. But for an Indian, the Pandits, Indian scholars, and for them to go to Tibet, there should be two reasons. And I personally don't see any of these two reasons with me. So therefore, I don't see any reason why I should visit Tibet. The two reasons. Number one, that that you go there and it would be incredibly great service to the Buddha Dharma, disseminating the Buddha's teachings there, proliferating the Buddha Dharma there. There's one part, the one reason, and the other reason is that the say today what we call in the modern context we call it as a fundraising. In those days, the Indian masters or Indian scholars, they go to Tibet to fundraising to gather gold, silver, and so forth I've got Tibetan people, they are so generous and they're just so dedicated, committed for the Buddha Dharma and so devoted and respectful. And a scholar or a master comes, they'll be happy to offer the gold and so forth. It became like a place where you do the fundraising for the Indian masters visiting Tibet. So he said that I personally, there's no reason why I don't really have any affinity for gold coins, gold and so forth. So therefore, there's no reason that I should go to Tibet. But that the Tibetan king, Lama Shihe, who sacrificed his life, who died in prison in order to invite me to Tibet, he actually sacrificed his life in prison. So looking at that, I see that he's a great bodhisattva, and if I don't comply with his advice, then I would actually suffer from the infringement or in creating infraction of not abiding by the advice of great bodhisattva. Number one. Number two, that you, the Tibetans, how dedicated, committed you are towards the Buddha Dharma. I see that there's a great degree of, say, the commitment, the inclination, your respect, devotion to Buddha Dharma. So therefore, I really feel sympathy to the Tibetan people. So for these two reasons, from the point of view of these two reasons, I see I see the reason that I should visit Tibet. And then finally, Lama Deshe Shirigana, what he did was that in Bodh Gaya, where most of us, we went there, we paid respect. So there, circumambulating around the main temple, then he could hear the anklets of a girl, anklets of the sound of the anklets of a lady behind him, and he did not look. And the lady behind, he started to speak to Lama Disha, saying that, Adisha, you don't want to even look at your mother. And Lama Disha was a little confused. Who's that? He turned back and it was Aretara. So then Lama Disha sought advice from the Aretara whether or not to accept the invitation to go to Tibet. Then Aretara made a prophecy that you must go to Tibet. And the going to Tibet, number one, that the flourishing, there's a tremendous benefit in flourishing the Buddha Dharma in Tibet, number one. Number two, that you're many lifetime a student, the lay practitioner, you're going to Upasaka, lay practitioner, you're going to meet him also there. So these are two prophecies that Aritara made, and on that basis, then Lama Disha left for Tibet. So in other words, what I'm saying is that Tibet House, we chose this Aritara practice for the successful knee surgery of His Holiness the Dalai Lama for the reason that Aritara is very closely connected with the monastic universities, big monastic universities, and they all feel Aritara as the mother. If the child suffers, the person to turn to is the mother. So likewise, and the Aritara is the one to whom all the great enlightened masters they turn to, and we, the disciples of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, not only the disciples, but everyone in the world, be it even the leaders, common people who even do not know, do not hear His Holiness. In fact, it's so less in number to see that people anywhere you go in the world. It's almost that people heard His Holiness the Dalai Lama. They know His Holiness Dalai Lama so well, and then any whether they have affinity to His Holiness or not, that everybody's benefiting from His Holiness' presence on the planet Earth, including the people, including the communist Chinese. They also benefited from His Holiness and His Holiness' presence there. So they say the narcissism and the cruelty, even that would be much less because of the presence of His Holiness. His Holiness is there, and they want to subject the Tibetan people, Uyghur people, and so much to acute cruelty and pain, but they know that there's somebody there on the planet Earth, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who's being loved by everybody on the planet Earth. If you do something too cruel, the world will not be happy to tolerate what we are doing. So they have benefited that what they're doing is being mitigated, the cruelty is being mitigated by the presence of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So everybody's benefited. So with this in mind, even the leaders, I know that many leaders, sensible leaders, they actually learn, they listen to His Holiness's lectures, and then they learn from His Holiness's lectures. And in their lectures, I see that many of them, they repeat what His Holiness said. I'm not going to mention the names. And these are wise leaders. They're so wise. They're able to learn from His Holiness, and His also is already with us, so we can learn from His Holiness. So this is what is happening with some sensible leaders, and even the non-sensible leaders, they're also getting a lot of benefit. They could not really create so much pain on the people, knowing that there's somebody there who would only think of embracing everybody rather than excluding others, rather than creating division among the people. So there's somebody who includes everybody. His Holiness the Dalai Lama on the planet Earth. If he's the leader, he will include everybody to make the whole world a one big family of love and affection. So they know that. Because of this, their tendency to create cruelty and create division amongst the people is going to be much more mitigated. So this is one thing. And then on a lighter note, I remember that my teacher, Venerable Lamna Baribuche, many years ago when I was in my 20s myself, he shared one anecdote about the Aritara's practice. He said that he was extremely confident that if you pray to Aritara for your problems, if you prayed wholeheartedly, your prayers will be answered. This was the amount of the confidence that he had, and that he was the full-time the hermit, and in his hermitage, the full-time there, and this was the amount of the confidence. And he shared one anecdote that once there was some person who never prayed to Aratara, and one day he was being washed away by a river, a very forceful river. And in Tibet, it so happened that on the wild rocks, the boulders, in the forest, wherever, the Tibetans put, there's a tendency, or there's some kind of habit to inscribe Om Mani Padme Hum or Aryatara, the paintings and so forth. And there's a huge rock in the middle of the river, which again was painted with Aryatara, the picture. And the man was washed away by the river, and then he was going to die. And then once in a while, when the river somehow accidentally he was pushed up, and he just got up from above the level of the water, he could see this rock on which the Aryatara's painting was there. Then he said, Aryatara, please protect me, right? And then the water just washed this man, washed it on the coast, just on the side. He was thrown away, and he was saved. So what did Aryatara say? That when he said, Aryatara, please protect me, Aryatara said, you remember me only today, right? And then he was washed away, and he was saved, protected. So this was the story which my teacher shared. And Aryatara is extremely swift. And of course, Aryatara made a commitment that by following the path, by following the path, I will follow the path in a female body. Attaining the Buddhahood, I'll attain Buddhahood in the female body. Serving the sentient beings, I'll serve the sentient beings in the female body. So this is a great inspiration to the females. So this is who Aryatara is. So therefore we pray to Aryatara that His Holiness's knee surgery will be of utmost success. Okay, with this in mind, let's turn to the next page, screen sharing. So I just say the next page for the offline, because the handout does not have any page number, right? In future, but in future, make sure that these things are taken note of. Okay, so for the offline, online is fine. Kungo Chandela, he is sharing the screen for us. For the offline participants, I'm just make sure that you are there, and I just they mentioned the caption, the blessings. Okay, wholehearted. As we read this, I'm reminding you again once more. As we read this, just see the meanings are reflected. From the white Om at the crown of Aryatara, white nectars and rays pour into my crown and fill the body with purifying bliss and emptiness. All mundane karmas of the body are purified. I receive the blessings of Aryatara's holy. My body becomes Aryatara's holy body. Okay, for those of us who do not receive empowerment, don't see that your body and Aryatara's body, they become one. Instead, you visualize the Aryatara on your crown. From the red arm at the throat of Aryatara, red nectars and rays pour into my throat and fill my subtle mind and wind with purifying bliss and emptiness. All mundane karmas of speech and impure winds are purified. I receive the blessings of Aryatara's holy wind and speech. My speech becomes one with Aryatara's holy speech. From the blue hung at the heart of Aryatara, blue nectars and rays pour into my heart and fill my body, mind with purifying bliss and emptiness. All mundane concepts are purified. I receive the blessings of Aryatara's holy mind. My mind becomes one with Aryatara's holy mind. From all three places, nectars of white, red, and blue stream forth into my three places, filling my body, mind, purifying all subtle stains of grasping and inherent existence. I receive the blessings of the enlightened experience of Aryatara. Tara then comes into the crown of my head and dissolves into the seed syllable thumb at my heart. My mind becomes one with the Guru Aryatara's mind. My mind, sense of self, dissolve into great bliss and emptiness. Okay, just think of emptiness. Those of us who studied about emptiness, just visualize yourself and the emptiness of yourself, the emptiness of Aryatara. And those of us who did not receive any empowerment, you visualize Aryatara on your crown and visualize that Aryatara dissolves in emptiness. For your Guru, Aryatara, and your mind, these three become non-dual, inseparably one. And think of the emptiness of this entity. Okay, thank you. Next, mantra recitation. Next page, mantra recitation. At Tara's heart, the syllable thumb surrounded by the mantra Om Tare Tu Re Swaha. Overwhelming outpouring of Bodhicitta from my heart, mind compels the mantra recitation to begin. Rainbow light radiates from the syllable thumb, and a mantra that reaches all sentient beings, purifying them and transforming them into Aryatara. All space becomes a pure land of Aryatara. All this radiated light comes back and is absorbed in the syllable thumb. Again, light is radiated from the thumb, and a mantra that reaches all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, making offerings to them. The light is reabsorbed into our hearts, granting us blessings. Okay, let's recite the mantra 21 times. As we recite mantra, if you visualize yourself Aryatara as indicated here with syllable thumb surrounded by the whole mantra around, and as you recite the mantra, visualize that from the mantra, the sound Om Dare Du Re So, that is being resounding the whole universe with this mantra, and alongside the radius, the very soothing lights, the rays and the nectars are emitted to everywhere, to all the beings, and particularly that we are being blessed to have His Holiness's research being very successful. And if you have not received the empowerment, you can visualize Aryatara on your crown and then do the same visualization on the basis of the Aryatara on your crown, not yourself in the form of Aryatara. Om Dare Dudare Dure Swaha, 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 Om Dare Dudare Dure Soha, 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 Om Dare Dudare Dure Soha. Om Dare Du Dare Dure So, Om Dare Du Dare Dure So, Ha, Om Dare Du Dare Dure So, Ha, Om Dare Du Dare Dure So, Om Dare Du Dare Dure So, Ha, Om Dare Du Dare Dure So, Ha, Om Dare Du Dare Dure So, Ha, Om Dare Du Dare Dure So, Om Dare Du Dare Dure So, Ha, Om Dare Du Dare Dure So, Ha, Om Dare Du Dare Dure So, Om Dare Du Dare Dure Soha, 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 Om Dare Du Dare Dure Om Dare Du Dare Dure Soha, 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 Om Dare Om Dare Du Dare Dure Soha, 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 Om Dare Du Dare Dure Soha. Okay, so now what we do is that I say justice for the parents from the part of the child. What is the best thing the child can do to make the parents happy? Is that you do something that you become self-sufficient. that you really succeed in your life. If this is what you can do, your parents, the very sensible parents, they will be most happy. This will be your greatest gift for your parents. So likewise, for all these great masters like the Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the Narada masters, and the best of the prayers is that we do something which they want us to do so that we are freed from miseries, that we get the maximum happiness. They attain nirvana and Buddhahood. So if this is what can do, this would be the greatest of the offerings to them. This is the greatest of the prayers for them. This will make them most happy. So alongside reciting the Aratara mantra, the Medicine Buddha mantra, by the way, here we have the Medicine Buddha Tanga. Um, we have the Medicine Buddha Tanga here, which the yes, with the 8 Medicine Buddhas there, the offered by Ajapamela and family. Okay, Ajapamela want to keep it confidential. Right. Okay, thank you. So the this is what we have here, and thank you, Ajapamela and your family for that. So the alongside doing the practice of these, the associated with these Buddhas and the deities, we can the one thing that is best, which is Holiness always tells us that if the bestest gift that you can make to me, number one, and the if you really think that you're my student, these are his own words. If you really think that you are my students and that I'm your teacher, and if you really want to make the offering, the best of which is you practice bodhicitta, the unconditional love, or the altruistic, the intention to become Buddha, altruistic bodhicitta, and the wisdom of emptiness. So if you can do this, this will be the best of the prayers for His Holiness, and that his new search will be a successful one. So with this in mind, first let us do a 5 minutes breathing meditation, shamatha meditation, 5 minutes to set a mind, make it ready to practice the bodhicitta and the wisdom of emptiness, and then take the aspirational bodhisattva vow. Are you ready? Okay. Next, we will do the. Usually, what we do is that we do the practice of the 4 seals, followed by 4 immeasurables, 4 seals for renunciation, 4 immeasurables for bodhicitta, and then wisdom of emptiness, and followed by taking the aspiration bodhisattva vow. So here, the we will do the four four immeasurables for bodhicitta. Ready? Okay. Um, this is what I did the indicate yesterday, and today also I like to the emphasize on the same point that these practices like the 4 immeasurables and the bodhicitta, we see that they may not resonate with with your own thinking. Your own thinking may not really accept what the practice that we are doing here, and some of you may feel a little the resistant to this practice because your mind doesn't really flow with it, and it said it's more resistant and that it's it doesn't resonate with this practice. So we don't really have to worry about it. The point is that we do this practice. The purpose of the practice, the meaning of the practice, is where things are initially just in the opposite direction, and you do it constantly, and then gradually it starts to flow your way. For example, like practicing music, um, the practicing the keyboard. Initially, you try to mimic your teacher, but while the teacher produces such a beautiful music, you only produce noise. And then with more practice, gradually, and that your, let's say, the practice will bears fruit in ways that noise gradually will transform into a beautiful music. So this means the practice. And right from the beginning, if you can invoke or trigger these profound experiences effortlessly, then there's no need to practice. Practice doesn't make any sense. So with this in mind, even though you feel that your mind is a little resistant to this practice, keep in mind that this is the purpose, this is meaning of practice. I'm so lucky that I come to know that my mind really doesn't really flow with a particular set of practice, which would be the greatest purpose and meaning for myself to create. This compassion, universal compassion and altruistic bodhicitta. This is the secret of your own happiness. So the now I sense that this is lacking, because of which I don't experience the infinite happiness. So with this in mind, given that this is a guided meditation, just try to flow your mind according to the instructions given, and don't try to tally with what you learned before. Just take the maximum advantage of this occasion and to just let flow your mind according to the instructions. And if you do want to tally, you can tally later on after this session. So let us take the most and to make the most of our being together here, to let flow and see how much we can invoke the experience of altruism, unconditional love towards all the beings. Are you ready? Let us reinforce the visualization of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, particularly Buddha Shakyamuni and His Holiness the Dalai Lama in front of us, as so loving, caring, and embracing, and in fact for whom we are praying that the knee surgery becomes very successful, the whole world can reap the maximum benefit out of His Holiness's extreme kind and blessed presence in the world. And you visualize you are surrounded by your two parents, all the family members, including children, and all demon sentient beings, human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, God and goddesses, spirits, everyone with you, all the trillions of creatures in the oceans, trillions of creatures in the wilderness, in the forest, all are with you, and they are being inspired by you taking the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow here. Immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear ascension beings are endowed with happiness and the causes happiness. May all my dear ascension beings be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. Cause of happiness primarily consisting of the most fearless wisdom of emptiness and the most beautiful mind of the Bodhicitta, unconditional love of Bodhicitta. I will take the responsibility that all my dim ascension beings are endowed with happiness and cause of happiness. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing that we're making such a courageous commitment, like the mother after all these many years of hardship raising her children. And today, the eldest daughter is just age 12, and the eldest son is 11. Two of them come to the mother, telling the mother, please take rest, mom. You have done everything for us. We are already grown up. We'll take care of all our siblings. And the mother could not believe her eyes and ears after all these many years of hardships. And today she is hearing, she is so proud of her two children. This is exactly what is happening to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. They are so happy today that you're making such a courageous commitment to take the responsibility of all the demonstration beings on your own shoulder. And seeing that this is what is happening, this invokes the pride and the joy all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas experience, invoke the compassionate mind within them to send forth nectars, very soothing lights towards you and all demonstration beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies beings yours instills in all happiness and causes happiness in the minds of the sentient beings and yourself. And you witnessing that such a miracle is happening to us all the demonstration beings, you're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Next, immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my demonstration beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering? The cause of suffering primarily consists of self-centered attitude and self-grasping ignorance. May all my dim ascension beings be freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. I will take the responsibility that all my dim ascension beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas making this, witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, the intense happiness in front of you. This pride and happiness invoke the compassionate niche minds to send for nectars every soothing lights towards you and all demonstration beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies beings yours, washes away all the miseries and causes the miseries from the minds of the sentient beings and yourself. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening towards all the demonstration beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with the relief. Immeasurable joy. How good would it be that all my demonstration beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they're endowed with. May all my dear ascension beings never be separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they're endowed with. I will take the responsibility that all my demonstration beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they're endowed with. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, they're intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassionate omniscient minds to send forth nectars of soothing lights to pursue in all demonstration beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies beings yours stabilizes the happiness and causes the happiness that beings endowed with. And you witnessing that such a miracle is happening towards all the demonstration beings, you're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with the relief. Immeasurable equanimity. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment to some and aversion towards others, and instead abide in a state of great equanimity, embracing all other dear sentient beings with total love and affection, leaving none aside. May all my dear sentient beings be freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment to some and aversion towards others. I will take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment to some and aversion towards others, and instead abide in the great state of equanimity. The Buddhist Bodhisattvas witnessing that you make such courageous commitment, the intense happiness proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke the compassion of omniscient minds to descend for the nectars of within us to pursue and all demonstration beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the body beings yours, washes up all the biases of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others, and instead making them abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other demonstration beings equally, leaving none aside. And you witnessing such a miraculous happening towards all the demonstration beings, you intense happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Underscoring all the four immeasurables is the unconditional love towards all the beings. Just abide in the experience of unconditional love towards all the beings. Imagine that you are looking at the eyes of each of sentient beings and reassuring them that you are there to take care of all of them to the extent that each one of them feels themselves so special in your eyes. With folded hands, let us make a Bodhicitta commitment together 3 times in front of all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, where you inspire all the beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Okay, just let this Bodhicitta commitment, the desire to become Buddha for the benefit of all dear mother sentient beings, be transformed into a spotlessly clean moon disk, horizontally sitting on the heart. Okay, it's amazing that you made such courageous commitment to become Buddha. But remember, no matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil comes out. So what makes you think that you squeezing or you putting effort, that Buddhahood will come out from you? Yes, that's true. I'm not like a handful of sand. Instead, I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds, squeezing which all does come out. I have a Buddha nature within me. Everyone has a Buddha nature, seed of perfection within everyone, whether you're male or female, believer or non-believer, or young or old. Everyone has this potential. We're all equal in that sense. But how come that since time immemorial, innumerable lifetimes in the past, till today, that this Buddha nature never is awakened? So what makes you think that it can be awakened now? Yes, till today, I'm being deceived by the two demons, self-centered attitude, which is selfishness, and self-grasping ignorance. These are the two demons. Now that I discover I'm disillusioned by these two demons, I'm going to do everything to exterminate these two demons. What are you going to do? I'm going to introduce a very powerful remedy to eradicate this darkness. It is only through introducing light. Likewise, it is only through introducing light of the wisdom that the darkness of self-grasping, ignorance, and darkness of self-centered attitude will be eradicated. What is that wisdom? So those of us who have some exposure to the study of the wisdom, from not a master's course, not a diploma course, not a certificate course. You are exposed to this wisdom concept, but those who are not, of course, in the future, we do have these courses continuously happening. You feel free to join these courses. And today, just follow the instruction. There's going to be guided meditation. You just follow the instruction and see how much you can reflect on it and come up with this experience to the best you can. Okay, ready? Okay, today let us meditate on the emptiness of somebody who you love so much, be it your mom, your child, husband, wife, daughter, son, friend, whatever. Okay, think of that person in front of you and see how this person appears to you. Of course, they're so amazingly loving, caring, affectionate, and beautiful, and so objectified there, not like a dream. Okay, so this belief that this person exists so objectively out there, this is known as self-grasping ignorance. And this is like believing the dream is real. We see dream is so real. We don't believe that in the dream. We don't see the dream as dream. We see the dream person as a real person. That is the root of the problem in the dream. All our mental turbulence, mental disturbance in dream happens because of the belief that dream person is a real person. Likewise, that I see this person so attractive, so nice, so loving, so caring, and so forth, and as so objectively there as real, not like a dream. This is self-grasping ignorance, this root of all the problems. And how do you know that this mind is not valid mind? Instead, that this mind is ignorance. How do you know that? Okay, if this self does exist the way this person appears, remember what Arjuna taught. If the mirage or Nagarjuna in the text Ratnavala or Ratnamali, precious garland, where Nagarjuna taught, if the mirage were to be water, one not those close by the mirage see water. Likewise, with the same token of reasoning, if this person whom I see as so objectively real, nice, loving, caring, and so forth, if this person would exist objectively, why don't I see this person as I go closer to this object? Okay, now let us go closer to the object to see if the person does exist objectively in contrast to how it exists as like a dream. That mind which goes closer towards the object is known as ultimate analysis. Subjecting this person to ultimate analysis. Subjecting person to ultimate analysis, whatever is not the person, let us just ignore all those because we're interested to to identify, to hold on to that person who I saw as object real. Are you going there? You first see that very thin layer of the skin of the person. Behind that, the fatty tissues. Behind that, the muscles, cartilages, the whole skeleton, the blood vessels, the heart, the lungs, the liver, spleen, pancreas, and so forth. And these solid parts constitute the element of earth. And the element of earth is, of course, not to be identified as intrinsically as this person. It's not one to be not to be identified as one intrinsic one with this person. Of course, these things are so repulsive to look at, but this person is so attractive, lovely, and caring. Then element of water. 4 liters of blood, which is pumped in and out by the heart to different parts of the body. Of course, that is not that person. Element of fire, 2,600 joules of energy of that person. Of course, that is not that person. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air that the person breathes in and out through the lungs. Of course, that is not that person. Element space, 99% of the person's body is vacuum. But this person is a solid person, it's not a space, it's not a vacuum. Element of consciousness, the person's mind, the person's a male, female, but a person's mind does not have a gender. Gender is posited on the basis of the body, and also that I can see this person, but I don't see the person's consciousness or the person's mind. So this person's mind or consciousness is also not this person. Okay, now you have come too close to the object to see if it does exist objectively. And what are you seeing now? I'm just seeing the 6 elements of this person. Okay, so which of the 6 elements of the person should be identified as intrinsically as this person, as one with the person? None. Stay in this experiment for a while. If these 6 are not to be identified as intrinsically as a person, remove them and see if the person exists as objectively as different from these 6 elements. Remove the 6 elements, what is left? Nothing is left there as a person. So the person is seen as empty of being intrinsically one with its parts and empty of being intrinsically different from its parts. So now tell me where from the object, where is this person? Nowhere to be seen. To my surprise, I discovered that this person is objectively empty. Stay in this experience for a while. For some people, it can be a tinge of fear coming that this person is not really there the way in the manner in which I used to see this person. For some people, it can be extreme tranquil feeling. For some people, a tinge of the goosebumps or tingling sensation, cold waves flowing through your body. If any of these, should any of these experience comes to you, you are very fortunate. If not, don't worry. Just if you can, pursue with the study of emptiness, study, reflection, meditation, and then with the consistent practice, you're bound to experience these. Okay. But here, when I say that this person is not at all to be found there, it doesn't mean that the person is empty. Person is not there. Person is there. The person exists just conventionally, not on the ultimate sense. In the ultimate sense, the person is empty. Objectively, the subjectively the person exists, like the dream person is not empty altogether. Dream person is empty being real. Dream person does exist as a dream person. It does not exist as a real person. This distinction must be made to understand emptiness. Okay, once more, let's go back to the once again we go back to the 6 elements. And tell me, where is this person who you love so much? It's empty, it disappears. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, slowly transform this amazingly fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness into a spotlessly clean white Vajra, thumb-sized white Vajra, vertically sitting on the moon disk of the heart. Okay, now you have the moon and the Vajra, referred to as the non-dual Bodhicittas. The moon, symbolic of the conventional Bodhicitta, to conventional Bodhicitta, which wishes to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, which is the ultimate remedy to overcome the selfishness or self-centered attitude. And a Vajra is symbolic of the ultimate Bodhicitta, which is the non-dual wisdom of emptiness of the Arya Bodhisattvas. And this guarantees that all your mental defilements, which obscure this diamond-like Buddha nature within you, to be eradicated. All the mental defilements will be eradicated, and the diamond inside will become vibrantly the manifesting outside. Wow, that's amazing. Yes, let's not forget that your 2 parents, all your family members, including children, and all demonstration beings are suffering there. Yes, just generate extremely strong compassion towards all the beings, wanting to free them from all the miseries. And this compassion which you triggered, which you generated now, invokes you, Vajramoon, into your heart to multiply infinite number of times, and wholeheartedly share one set of the Vajramoon with your mother at your heart, one set with your father at his heart, one set with each one of your family members, including children, and one with each of the beings in the planet Earth. the human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, the god and goddesses, spirits, one with each of the beings and the entire the Milky Way galaxy, the one with each of the beings and the entire universe. Okay, that's amazing. You're so kind to share this, the blaze of the non-dual bodhisattvas with all the beings. Let us not forget. Let's remember that Buddha's bodhisattvas, right from the beginning, they are there with us. Why not we invite all the Buddha's bodhisattvas to be the witness and our guests for the guests for our undertaking the ceremony of taking aspiration Bodhisattva vow. As just making them the request to be a guest and the witness. Let us slowly make stand up with along with all demonstration beings to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhas Bodhisattvas. Okay, see if you can sit on your right knees. See if you can sit on your right knees. And if you have knee problem, backache problem, don't be bothered to sit on right knees. Sit in the most comfortable position as you like. But if you can, and then you can sit on your right knees. Okay. Page 50. Okay, page 50. This is the actual ceremony of taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. And since that it will take a little time, in between, if you start to feel the pain, then don't continue to bear the pain. Sit in the most comfortable position because the pain should not be the reason to distract you from taking from your reflection. Your reflection is the key. That's the most important thing. So with this in mind, should there be some newcomers today? Yesterday, although I explained it in detail yesterday, but if there are newcomers today, I'd like to explain this. This is a very important part. The whole purpose of being together here is to take this aspirant Bodhisattva vow. And who's entitled to take the aspiration the vow is anyone. It's not necessary that you should be Buddhist. Even non-Buddhist, anyone can take the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. Anybody who who wants to be committed, if possible, to help others, and if not, at least not to harm others. This much, if you can commit, you're entitled to take the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. And what is this all about? It is the awakening of your own potential. It's not that only if you're a Buddhist you can do that, the non-Buddhist cannot do that. No, this is not the case. Anybody can do that. Everybody has the Buddha nature. It's not that only Buddhists should have the Buddha nature. That's not true. Everybody has the Buddha nature. Buddha does not mean Buddhism. Buddha means awakening. It's a Sanskrit word which means awakening. So the awakening of your own Buddha nature, awakening of your own potential, and the awakening of which will then allow you to experience total fearlessness and infinite happiness. So meanwhile, as I said earlier, if you start to feel the pain, please sit in the most comfortable position. So they're given that this journey to experience total fearlessness and infinite happiness, this is a most important journey, and yet we have never undertaken this journey. So because of this, this is a very new journey. We require incredible support, and the greatest source of support that we can think of is the Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So the first line says, I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. Then, having taken the support of the Triple Gem, this journey involves a road, and the road should not be blocked by the boulders and the fallen trees. If it is blocked by these, then you cannot undertake the journey. You have to clear these things, and the road is none. It's not external road. Is that the road is none other than your mind. Your mind should be cleared of the negativities. So the second line says, I confess the negativities individually. Now the road is clear, but if the car that does not have fuel, again you cannot undertake the journey. The car is none other than your own mind. This mind should have enough fuel of the merits and the virtues. And the best way by which to do this, accumulate virtues within a short span of time, is by rejoicing in the virtues of all the beings. So third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. So now that the road is clear and your car is enough fuel, what kind of journey are you going to undertake? I'm going to undertake the journey of the enlightenment, Buddhahood, full awakening for myself and for the benefit of all demon sentient beings. The fourth line says, I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. And the next two verses, if you look at the history of the humanity, who succeeded in this journey, we see that flipping through the history book, we see that 2,500 years ago, there was Prince Siddhartha who succeeded in this journey. And how did he succeed this? Even after 2,500 years, billions of creatures are being continuously benefited by his wisdom, his compassion. And how did he succeed that? Is by him putting effort to create two factors. First factor is the factor of intense motivation and intention to become Buddha to further benefit all sentient beings. In other words, to awaken one's potential fully for the benefit of sentient beings. This Bodhicitta intention, Bodhicitta motivation. And then number two factor, in order to materialize the aspiration, the wholesome aspiration, he engaged in the Bodhisattva practices to awaken this and this youth perfection within. So, like 6 perfections, 4 perfections, total 10 perfections. If this is how he succeeded, then you also make the commitment that I will also create the two factors. One, to generate very strong the Bodhicitta motivation and the desire to become Buddha for the benefit of the sentient beings. And number two, to materialize this aspiration, I'll also engage in Bodhisattva practices. Okay, this is how we do it. And in the first verse, we'll say 3 times together. And imagine that you are leading this practice, all Buddhist Bodhisattvas are watching us, and all of family members, all demonstration beings, they are also watching us. They are with us. You having inspired them, they are so inspired to join us in this ceremony. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. And these second two verses, the next two verses, we're going to say together. And through the third repetition, third repetition of the second verse, imagine that you have received the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow and you feel the joy. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva practices. Feel the joy over having received the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow. And imagine that you are like a small little girl, little boy, age just 4 or 5, and for the first time in your life, you're making public appearance on behalf of your school, and your parents are so proud of you, and then you having done this, the Buddhist bodhisattvas like your parents, they're so proud of what you did today, and all these many lifetimes. While the Buddhist bodhisattvas, they imagine that you engage in virtues so that you will have happiness, that you shun miseries, that you are freed from miseries. On the contrary, we just do the opposite, and which made them so sad. And today, what you did, taking the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow, this makes them extremely proud. It is like the small children, the mother always getting complaint from the school, and today the school principal comes, and the mother again apprehensive, again what kind of complaint, and today on the school, no, we came here to congratulate you. What for what? And that your son and the daughter, two of them, are appointed as the best of the students of the school for this year. The mother could not believe her eyes and ears after all these many years of hearing complaint from the school. And today she's hearing something so pleasant. This is exactly what is happening to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. All Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they feel so proud of what you did today. And this pride and joy all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas feel invoke the Vajramon at the house of the Buddhist Bodhisattvas to multiply infinite number of times. Like rain shower, they descend to merge with the one that visualize your heart, thereby becoming non-dual, inseparable, stabilized, and blessed. Likewise, innumerable replicas of the Vajramoon from the Buddhist Bodhisattva's hearts, like rain shower, they descend to merge with the one that visualizes the heart of your mother, at the heart of your father, at the heart of each one of family members, each one of sentient beings here in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, and in the entire universe. Thereby, the Vajramoon that you have shared with them become so blessed, non-dwell with the blessings of the what descends. Vajramoon descended from all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. They become non-dual and stabilized and blessed. And imagine that today what you did today, this is the greatest of the gifts that you are making to all the sentient beings. And of all the offerings that you can think of, the Buddha himself very clearly indicated that one moment of generating compassion far excels the gifts of the whole universe filled with gems and offered to Buddhist Bodhisattvas. If this is to be the case, what I mentioned of our having taken the Aspirational Bodhisattva today, so today you have made the greatest of offerings to all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. And with your life, what you did today, this is of the greatest of the purpose and meaning. And today you have given such meaning to your life, extracted such meaning out of your life. This is amazing. This is something to be celebrated. This is something to be really celebrated. And all these wonders happening because of the blessings of all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, along with all the sentient beings, let us slowly stand up to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. Okay, please take your seats. With this, let us turn to page 51. Page 51. Okay. We are very fortunate that that we have taken the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow to accumulate merit, so that and that be dedicated towards the success of the new century of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. The presence of His Holiness is for the good of the whole humanity and all the sentient beings, or all sentient beings, and even the ecology of the world. So with this in mind, in the future lifetimes, that we continue to reap the benefit of to be connected with the two bodhicittas. We recite this in the form of a very powerful prayer. Include this in the form of very powerful prayer. So let's say this three times together. Okay, it's in the book. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in cosmic life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the cosmic life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the cosmic life. In order to further increase this bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who have lucidly seized and awakened the mind of bodhicitta in this way should highly praise it in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit, having well obtained this human existence. I've been born in the family of the Buddha, and now I'm one of Buddha's children. Thus, whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall I disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakened mind has been born within me. Is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death, is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. It's the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease. Is a tree that shelters all beings wandering entirely on the path of conditioned existence. It is a universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth. It is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions. It is this great sun that finally removes the mist ignorance of the world. It is the quintessential butter from the churn of the milk of Dharma. For all those guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the bounties of happiness, this will satisfy them with joy, and you actually place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, and of the world to be guests at a festival of temporary and ultimate delight, may gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Okay, now we will read the long life prayer of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, page 200, page 267. Page 267. Okay. So I did mention this yesterday. This is the composition by two teachers of His Holiness the Dalai Lama collectively composed this text. This is extremely blessed, and the Tibetans and the people all over the world, they've been reciting this for all these many years, perhaps like since His Holiness was in the teenage. From there till today, people have been reciting this. It's greatly, greatly blessed. And with this, the verses of long life for His Holiness, and let's pray for the successful stage of His Holiness, and that His Holiness live long, and that His wishes be fulfilled spontaneously for the welfare of the all humanity, all sentient beings in the universe. Om Swaste. To the assembly of most kind teachers, both present and past, the miraculous dance of the body, speech, and mind of innumerable Buddhas, manifesting in accord with their aspirant spiritual capacities, the wish granting jewel, the source of all virtues and goodness, to you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso protect live for 100 eons, shower on him your blessings so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To the assembly of all meditation deities, manifesting as countless mandalas and divinities, the magical clouds of immaculate transcendent wisdom, reaching to the furthest expanse of the space of ultimate reality. To you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the land of snows, live for 100 eons, shower on him your blessings so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To all the victorious Buddhas of the three times, endowed with 10 powers and who are even masters of the gods, and those attributes of perfections are the source of all compassionate deeds, benefiting the vast ocean-like realm of sentient beings. To you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the land of snows, live for 100 aeons, shower on him your blessings, so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To the assembly of sacred doctrine embodied in the three vehicles, supreme, serene, a jewel treasure of enlightenment, stainless, unchanging, eternally good, and the glory of all virtues, which actually liberates beings from the suffering of the three worlds. To you we offer a prayer with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the land of snows, live for 100 aeons, shower on him your blessings, so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To all members of the enlightened noble spiritual community, who never stray from the thorough liberating adamantine city, who possess the wisdom mind that directly sees the profound truth and the highest value to destroy all machinations of secular existence. To you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the land of snows, live for 100 aeons, shower on him your blessings, so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To the assembly of heroes and Dakinis, heavenly beings of the three worlds, who appear in the highest paradises, in the sacred places, and in the cremation grounds, and who through the creative play in the hundredfold experience of bliss and emptiness support practitioners in their meditation on the excellent path, to you for our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the land of snows, live for 100 aeons, shower on him your blessings, so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To the ocean of protectors endowed with eyes of transcendent wisdom, the powerful guardians are upholders of their teaching, who were inseparably on the metal logs, the knot symbolizing their pledge to the Vajradhara. To you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the land of snows, live for 100 aeons, shower on him your blessings, so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. Thus, to this congregation of excellent undeceiving refuge, we pray that by the power of this prayer, expressed from a heart filled with fervent devotion and humility, may the body, speech, and mind of the soul of the land of snows, Supreme Governor of Sant Tenzin Gyatso, be indestructible, unfluctuating, and unceasing. May he live immutable for 100 aeons, seated on a diamond throne, transcending decay and destruction. You are the jewel heart embodying all compassionate, beneficial deeds. O most courageous one, you carry on your shoulders the burden of all the Buddhas of the infinite realms. May all your noble aspirations be fulfilled as intended. By virtue of this, may the heavenly doors of the fortunate era open eternally as a source of relief and respite for all beings, and may the auspicious signs reach the apex of existence and release as the sacred teachings flourish through all times and in all realms. May the nectar stream of the blessings of the lotus holder always enter our hearts and nourish them with strength. May we please you with offerings and dedicated practice, and may we reach beyond the shores of perfect compassionate deeds through the teachings, through the blessings of the wondrous Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, by the infallible truth of the laws of dependent origination, and by the purity of our fervent aspirations. May the aims of my prayers be fulfilled without hindrance. Okay, now let us do the end declaration prayer. Ringati. Okay, it is on page 294. Page 294. So no doubt that we have the accumulated enormous amount of merit, enormous amount of virtues, and that we dedicated as the whole purpose for our coming together here, both offline, online, is to pray for the successful surgery of His Holiness's knee, and that His Holiness should have a long life, long, good, healthy life, for the benefit of the whole humanity and all the world, both the human beings, the animals, and the ecology, and also the entire all the sentient beings. So and also let's pray that the finally what makes the whole humanity, the whole world happy and peaceful is the kind heart, compassionate heart, on the appreciation, not just a compassionate on the surface, but with the depth and with the vastness, which is possible only through seeing the interdependent relationship, the on the width and the depth So with this, then there's a possibility for the compassion deep and the in width, both possible. So in other words, the two wings of the bird to cross the ocean of the samsara miseries, it is quintessential for all of us to cultivate the two wings. The wing of the universal compassion for all beings, on the basis of the understanding, having the other wing, the wing of the wisdom, to see the interconnectedness, interdependency of all phenomena. And let's pray that these two teachings, which were brought on the planet Earth by the Buddha Shakyamuni, and today being they proliferated, disseminated greatly to all the sensible people by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, may these two teachings flourish and thrive in every nook and corner of the universe, in the minds of all demonstration beings. And let me personally dedicate the merits thus gathered, that each one of you, both online, offline, that you through your own concerted effort be able to soon see the dawn of the wisdom of emptiness and bodhicitta, that you be able to guide all the demonstration beings towards ultimate happiness and fearlessness. And let's also pray that all the great learning centers of all the different traditions of the Theravada tradition, in other words, the Buddhism in the Pali language and Buddhism in the Sanskrit language, both in Chinese and the Tibetan tradition, may all the learning centers who are genuinely playing the role in disseminating these precious teachings of Buddha thrive in the activity of study, reflection, meditation, and all the members there have the long life and have a very fruitful flourishing, Dhamma flourishing in the mind, and to be of great service to the humanity and to the world. So with this in mind, let us recite the following verses together, page 294. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful chariots Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samadabhata too realize things there are, also I dedicate all these merits. Praise as the best by all the Buddhas who appear in 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. Chanjo semjo remboche magye banam ke ba nyam ba me ba ya kone kondo pe barai sho. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that is not arrested and arrest and grow, and may that which is arrested not diminish but increase forevermore. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards realization that is in the prayers of all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of 3 times, and of the whole of the Dhamma teaching and realization. May I in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the 2 stages. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. May the poor find wealth, those sick, greatly sorrow, find joy. May the fallen find new hope, constant happiness, prosperity. May all who are sick and ill quickly be relieved, free, and may every disease in the world never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be afraid. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting one another. By the merits I've accumulated, may every single being abandon all forms of wrongdoing and perpetually engage in virtue. May they never be parted from the May they be careful by of the Buddhas and relinquish the actions of devils. May no living creature ever suffer, commit wrong, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled, or their minds ever be depressed. May all the pains of my living creatures rise to myself, and through the might of the Bodhisattva Sangha, may all beings experience happiness. Having dispelled all inner outer obstacles and but downfalls, such as poverty, despair, oppression, cruelty, epidemics, natural disasters, to environmental degradation. May all beings forever enjoy the glory of peace and happiness. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the blessed Buddha in my heart. By the power of practicing and supplicating to you, may all be free from sickness, poverty, and conflict, and may Dharma and auspicious and proliferate in all the places where we abide. The power of the union of emptiness and compassion is loosely explained by the protective land of both the Dharma and the beings of the land of snows. You are the lotus holder Tenzin Gyatso. We supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operation of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans or non-humans who harbor malice through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be truly vanquished through the power of the truth of the three jewels, by the dependent realization of profound suchness of appearance and emptiness, together with the force of great compassion of the three jewels and the power of the truth, and through the virtue of the infallible law of karmas and the fruits, may this truthful prayer of ours be unhindered and quickly fulfilled. May the teaching of this beneficial one till world's end be unshaken by the winds of evil thoughts. May it always be met by innumerable beings who find conviction in the teacher by understanding the teaching's true nature. May I never falter even for an instant but to uphold the excellent way of the sage, which illuminates the principle of dependent origination through all my births, even giving away my body and life. May I spend day and night carefully reflecting by what means can I enhance his teaching, achieved by Supreme Savior, when in normal lives, never separate from perfect gurus, enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, I could attain the Sri Vajratara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by the Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of independent origin in particular, even across my life. Okay, so with this, we concluded this prayer for the long life of His Holiness, and that His Holiness needs to be successful. And alongside, they say this is not just the end. I would suggest that each one of you, every time you go in the metro, you come here, go wherever you do, online, both online, offline. We continue to do this mantra recitation, the medicine Buddha mantra and Aryatara mantra, any other mantra that you know be dedicated for His Holiness' long life and for the successful initiation of His Holiness. And this one thing, and the alongside, I would say for His Holiness, this would be more important that we become a better person, that we become more sensible person, less anger, less the greed, and this we cannot force ourselves to be less angry and less greedy. Is only to be done through the deeper study, reflection, and meditation. So these should help us to become less, they say, prone to anger and less prone to greed and less prone to any other afflictive thoughts, and that our mind becomes more clear in the reflection and more with a greater integrity, more compassionate, and more the eager to learn, more passionate in learning. So this is what would be the greatest of the offerings and the prayers for His Holiness's long life. And for His Holiness finally, His Holiness, the long life is for the betterment of the world, that the world be a better world, that the future of the world, the future leaders, they come out as somebody to give hands to each other rather than push each other with warfares. So this is what we pray. This is His Holiness's prayers for us, that we should be able to live in this world more peacefully, that we can even to have a cup of tea, that we can take the cup of tea with so much of joy and happiness without fear. This is Holiness's aspirations. Let us pray that it comes true. So, which involves our involvement in studies, any kind of study that not in the great masters' teachings. There are so many programs given anywhere in the world. Be a part of that and make sure that you keep growing. And once you're grown, then you can inspire others around you and to follow in this track. And this is how you are the supporting His Holiness. Not that so that your Holiness, you are the more healthy and then you are more happy. No, that His Holiness is more healthy, more happy for us. That we become more sensible person, that the world becomes a more matured, civilized person. This is what we should keep in mind. And so with this, we stop here. And now I will hand it over to our program coordinator, Kongwichin Denla. Sujay. Sunda.
Thank you very much, Venerable Geshe, for always guiding us to generate the mind, to generate bodhicitta in us and generating compassion and always following the principles of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Thank you very much. And I would also like to thank all the participants, the physical participants who have attended here. I'm very thankful to you. On behalf of Tibet House, I would like to thank all of you for your extreme devotion, your dedication, and your commitment towards Tibet House activities, and your super devotion to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and Lord Buddha, and of course Venerable Geshe. So thank you very much, everyone. And also, I would like to thank all the online WebEx platform participants and the YouTube viewers. Thank you very much for joining with us today. And now, before I conclude, I would like to make a small announcement. Next month, we have, as we all know, that we have His Holiness Trungkar ceremony, His Holiness birthday, 89th birthday. So we have, we will be undertaking the Aspirational Bodhisattva vows led by Venerable Geshe. And then we have Chogur Tujen, which is on 9th July 2024. And I'm very happy to inform you that we have an upcoming conference in the month of July, which is on Sunday, 14th July, at the Multipurpose Hall in India International Center. The conference will be on ecology, which is the theme, the High Himalaya and Environmental Justice. So this is the theme of the conference, and I would request all of you to attend this conference with full devotion once again. Thank you very much, everyone. And I would like to request the younger ones to kindly help us with the sock distribution. And we have special arrangements, tea and snacks arrangements for all of you to the adjacent room in the gallery room. Kindly help yourself. Thank you very much. Thank you.